take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northeast Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, all the areas that our 100,000 watt signal permeates onto those who are still using that good thing called an FM radio receiver. Anyway, folks, and of course, we cannot leave out the rest of the world. Welcome to the entire world, since the internet has made it possible for us to have listeners and supporters all over our huge, blue, beautiful piece of land rotating around the sun, actually called the Earth. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. I hope you remember that this is a call-in show. Please don't wait till the end to call in, because we kind of then have to rush at the end. That number, of course, is 713-526-5738. But before we get busy, it's incumbent on me to get to the studios at Caroline and make sure we hear from my brother from another mother, El Señor Jacques Van Beba. Jack, how are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing good this morning, Egberto. How are you?
I am doing fine, sir. I'm doing fine. I'm kind of a little upset about some of the races and that's going on in the primaries, but we're going to talk about that later on. But what's on your mind? What word do you have for us to start the day?
Well, I liked your second topic on your newsletter about the oligarchs investing in Trump and why. So I wrote a little bit on it off of that. Why are the oligarchs investing in Trump? Big business loves doing business with dictators. Why? Because a dictator will sell the people out to the corporate interest. The corporate will supply the dictator with enough military hardware to keep the people oppressed. This all translates into massive profits for the corporation. Corporate America has a long history of installing strong-wing dictators in countries they wish to exploit, and it looks like it's coming to America.
You hit it on the nail. It has come to America. It has come to America, folks. It has come to America. But you know what, Jack?
It's on our doorstep.
It's on our doorsteps. But Jack, you know what? With you getting up every morning and coming out to KPFT with what we're doing as a team here, trying to put the word out, we just have to keep reminding Americans that they are already empowered. There are millions more of them than the few thousand that are creating the chaos that we have in the country. So we'll keep doing this work, which is important work, to remind folks. I know you're tired of going to work. I know you're tired when you get home. I know you don't want to do too much heavy lifting. Well, that's what we are here for. And of course, we always ask you to go ahead and verify the things that we talk about. And Jack, earlier I saw a phone that was ringing. So, folk, whoever that was calling that wanted to get an early start on the phone, give us a call back right now before I get into the morning rant. So please go ahead and give us a call back right now. I used to have this thing that I may reinstitute in the coming days. In the past, when we were at Lovett for four something Lovett. Man, I'm getting old. Can't remember what the number. Before
419 Lovett.
419 Lovett. Yeah, when we were out there at 419 Lovett, I always started the program with a thing. You'd hear, "Ding, there's time for the blog of the week." That was when we're a weekly show, not a daily show. I think I'm gonna look into reinstituting that thing that says it's time for the blog of the day. because I think it's important that we start with that substantive thing of the day. So I've been kind of thinking about putting that back together. For those of you who remember the show back in 10, 11 years ago when I did that, I think I did that for probably 4 or 5 years, if not more. I'm going to start that again. Anyhow, folks, the title of the show today is AIPAC Beat Jamaal Bowman. The second topic is Oligarchs Funding Trump, and CNN host challenges Trump's BP wannabe. And my God, it must have been late when I wrote this because I said BP instead of VP. Anyway, Jamal Bowman put up a great fight against AIPAC. Why is the oligarchy investing heavily in convict felon Donald Trump's campaign? And host dings Trump's VP wannabe trying to call Biden a dictator. I'll correct all of that in the newsletter. And don't forget, we a lot of times we don't get to all the topics, or most of the times we don't get up to all the topics. Just go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It seems like my other brother from another mother, is already here. Joe, come on in. I think Joe is probably waiting for a bus in Kingwood to get to work. Am I hitting that right, Joe?
You got it exactly right, man. They're over there waiting. But yeah, I just wanted to follow up on yesterday. I don't want to take too much time. Somebody said that maybe I'm, conspiring to steal away the minutes of your show by talking too much.
Well,
But
before you continue, let me say, I've never told you that. I understand what my friend Patrick was saying yesterday. I do want to hear everybody's voices. Go ahead.
so I'm stoked about the Supreme Court's got a couple decisions coming up this week, and the debate is going to be this week. And I'm thinking about the last debate between these two that I saw when Biden was asked about the laptop from hell that contained evidence of all kinds of criminal wrongdoing, and he went around and got all his friends from the intelligence community, or however it happened, but 50 people from the intelligence community signed a letter saying that laptop was fake and bogus. And he stood there and looked right in the camera and lied to all of our faces last time and said that laptop is not mine. It is Russian disinformation, and that was disproved. And that laptop was even used as evidence, this year in Hunter Biden's so-called trial. So I'm really interested to see what happens this week, and I don't know. I'm still thinking they're going to pull some kind of a Hail Mary and throw Hillary Clinton in there, or Michelle Obama or something like that. But it's going to be an interesting week.
So let me ask you something before you go. What does the Biden laptop have to do with anything that will make your life better?
So the Biden laptop is just a glimpse under the cover, right, of going back to what Jack said, the corporate America and how it exists to basically make money any way it can, by selling the most addictive things, by selling weaponry, by going around the world starting wars so we could sell weapons and technology. I mean, we've got some evil people at the head of the table here, and our media is absolutely poisoned. It's with half truths, and so that laptop exposes
Jack,
what is rotten in the
I
United
mean,
States.
Joe, first, you know what is so interesting? You remember a few weeks ago you said, wow, maybe if we sat down, we could come up with these things that we share in common and actually get something done. I asked you, what does the Biden laptop has to do with your well-being or you getting ahead or whatever. And then you gave me an answer that I believe in, which has nothing to do with the Biden laptop. It has everything to do with all the things that we stand for getting rid of: the corporatocracy, the media lies, and all that sort of stuff. The interesting thing, however, is a lot of times who is the culprit. So I'm going to let you go now since I have some other calls to go, Joe, but I want you to consider going in that direction of thinking. I mean, I am not going to disagree with what you just said there, but it has nothing to do with the laptop or the hate for Biden or whatever. There's a friend of mine that just said, uh, he asked me, how can I dare? I don't believe in the genocide, and I do believe it's a genocide in Israel. And at the same time, I can tell all my Jewish friends who know me, and they'll tell you too, there's not an anti-Semitic bone in my body. But what Netanyahu is doing in Israel is, I mean, not in Israel, in Gaza, it's a genocide by definition. Okay, people may not want to accept it, but it's a statement of fact. Now, Joe Biden is complicit in working with Netanyahu because of historical reasons. Is that the right move? Hell no. So a person asks me, why am I still voting for Biden? I'm not voting for Biden. I'm voting for everything an election of Biden will give me the opportunity to do. But anyway, Joe, I appreciate your call. I got to get to Harry and then Johnny. So thank you so kindly, brother.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, let's go to Harry. Come on in, Harry. Another
Good
brother from
morning.
another mother.
So another brother from another mother, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from the mayor of politics done right when I'm finished, because he always has good things to say. But anyway, yeah, I heard your show yesterday, and you're as eloquently put and intelligently put when you talked about how the American employee gets screwed. People who have stocks on Wall Street, they didn't do the work, and when they do stock buybacks, their stocks go up. And as Jack said yesterday and today, the oligarchs want to invest in Trump because the dictator Trump, who wants to be a dictator, will sell out to the oligarchs and screw the American people. Now I want to touch on Jamaal Bowman. I heard Democracy Now! Yesterday, or not yesterday, but 2 days ago. And I like the way Ayanna Presley put it, and I like the way Bernie Sanders put it, and I was reminded why I did not vote for Hillary Clinton 8 years ago, and my brother didn't as well, and because she's she's supporting the person that AIPAC spending the money on. I can't remember his name, to defeat Jamaal Bowman, just because Jamaal Bowman wants to do the right thing and calls for a permanent ceasefire, not a temporary ceasefire over there in the Gaza until they can just get aid and get the American hostages, but but a permanent ceasefire. And you're right, Ebro Willis, you don't have a anti-Semitic bone in your body. You love on everybody, and for me, it's about solidarity. That's why I'm voting for Dr. Cornel West, because he's about, which I voted for him in the primary, because he's about doing the right thing, and it's about solidarity for him over there as he's protested that for decades. And I just feel that he's the man for the job. He can do this. And another thing I was going to bring up.
Harry, I don't want to go to yet on another subject. I want to keep you on the subjects that you're talking about, and then I got to move on. But I want to ask you a question, however, sir. And I ask you this I ask you this respectfully. Can Cornel West win? Yes or no? And that's a yes or no question.
I'm being realistic, Roberto, about that. Cornel West, I don't think can win, but I believe in voting your conscience.
I agree. I'm not going to dispute your vote at all. All I ask people to do, and let me just say one other thing, my brother. Your vote, a vote for Cornell in Texas is not necessarily a harmful thing unless Biden has a possibility of winning Texas. I would love for Biden to have well, rather, I would love for a Democratic candidate to have the possibility of winning the presidential, the electoral votes in Texas. It's unlikely. So your protest vote would be recorded just that as a protest vote. But I hope that if you were in a state like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and others, that you would bite your tongue and say, you know what, I have to think about the country first and not that I understand this is a protest vote. I think I know you enough
Right.
to think
That's
you'd do
right. You're
something
right.
like that.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, brother. I got to go. You have a
Okay.
great day, Harry. Let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
Good morning. My brother from another mother,
Another brother from another mother. Talk to me.
brothers from other mothers. A message, a friendly message to Hey Joe, who called you first today. When you make a statement to Egberto like you did yesterday, this is a simple nitpicking thing from my point of view, but it's essential. You can't make a statement, even though it's hyperbolic, probably, that MSNBC is the fakest. I think that was his words, or the fakest or the worst media available when he was criticizing the way you vet information for your show. That is laughable because everybody knows that MSNBC is not the fakest one. The first thing that comes to my mind is Fox so-called news. So I don't know if you're saying that to be divisive or if you really believe what you say to Egberto. Your credibility suffers either way. So if you want to have true discourse on this radio station, you can't pretend that you're talking to KTRH. This is KPFT, Pacifica Radio, where people come to talk who actually have something of value to contribute, not always divisiveness. Divisiveness is a turnoff for me, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you for that, Johnny. Before you go, however, I want to say one thing, and it goes like this. I believe in earning people's respect, and I believe I have to earn people's respect. I don't want anybody, and you don't, just hear something that I say and take it at face value. I want to tease them into going and actually legitimately and honestly and objectively researching the things that I say. Every so often I will get something wrong, and I would be right here on air saying, "Oh, I didn't get that quite right." I mean, let me tell you, Brian calls in here a lot of times and discuss stuff. Even Brian caught me off guard one time, and I came back the other day and said, "Ah, Brian, I went and looked it up, and actually, I didn't get it quite right." And that's what it's all about, right? You can be, but you are absolutely correct. The most disingenuous stations, and this is not us saying it as progressives, this is independent analysis have proven that those people who get their news from Fox News, from OAN, and also from Newsmax. There are three major ones: Fox News, Newsmax, and OAN. They are
And that
severe. Go ahead.
religious so-called channel on TV that Mike Lindell, the mustache, likes to hang out at.
Oh yeah, right. I know what you mean. I think that the what you call it club, etc. But these are folks,
Oh,
and look, it is okay. I mean, people get the information from those that they trust, and what we have to do here, Johnny, is have enough communication that we can objectively talk to others, and folks say, "Ah, I got a text the other day from somebody who sent me something from PragerU." And what I did with them is I sent them an objective fact check company who compared, who gave what PragerU was all about, and that same company rated egbertowillis.com, my news site, and my news site was rated as highly factual, and Prager University was low facts and conspiracy theories, just to say. But anyhow, I
same,
gotta
it's the
go.
same as it's the
Go
same
ahead.
as Donald Trump University. It's make believe. So
Right.
nobody's perfect, of course. And I've called you out once or twice, which is rare. but because nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but the difference is between our side and the other side of the aisle is that we don't have a problem with admitting when we make a mistake.
Yeah.
It's the manly thing to do, if you want to use that word for the people on the right. They like to be a
It's
man.
called human. I mean, we all make mistakes, Johnny. But Johnny, let me jump to Brother Ray from Third Ward, another brother from another mother. So we'll talk later, Johnny. Thank you for your call. And I haven't started my rant yet, but I love having you guys with your topics. Brother Ray from Third Ward, my brother from another mother. Talk to me.
Buenos dias, hermano. I just
Buenos
wanted
dias.
to chime in. I wanted to push back on Brother Harry. You know, I share your sentiment with the fact that, you know, hey, okay, maybe because you're in Texas, it's okay to vote, you know, a protest vote, but I would hope if you were in a swing state where your vote has more impact on the greater electoral
Outcome.
college vote, yeah, you would have voted, you know, for Biden. And when it comes to voting like that, I like I say, you know, me and you and Harry and other progressives, you know, we supported Bernie Sanders, but at the time when Bernie Sanders ran in 2016 and in 2020, there was a viability of him winning the Democratic primary and being on the ticket for a major party. So outside of that, I don't really see where it pays to vote your interests. I say if you can't win your interest in the primary, then in the general election you have to basically make a transitional vote or a transactional vote, I should say, and vote for the person like you said who's going to make it easier for you to have an opportunity to get the things that you want. And basically, I'm also pushed back on some of the things that you say in general, as far as so I know that I believe Jamaal Bowman, you know, lost his primary, and you'll talk about that later. But I actually want to come with some optimism and say that I know, you know, this thing with foreign policy and Gaza and the tragedy over there has been at the forefront of your mind for a while, you know, and it is something that needs to have space, and you've been giving it space. But optimistically, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and they say that most people, when they vote, with the forefront of their mind, they thinking about their personal situation. So, in other words, although I have, you know, some fear and a little bit of, you know, pessimism that, you know, we can pull to the victory side, you know, as a collective and get Biden victory, you know, there's this part of me that's saying, like, well, people are worried about Gaza and things like that, but people are really worried about, you know, and if you look at Trump, and I'm going to bring it home with this, if you look at Trump and you look at Biden, if people really look closely at both of these individuals and think hard about who do they want to try to live their life with for the next 4 years, that choice would easily be made if you think about domestic issues like, you know, childhood poverty, like tax policy, things like that. So I think, you know, ultimately Gaza is not going to be the albatross around Biden's neck. And that gives me some sense of optimism, you know, in November for the election.
I can't dispute anything that you just said. You know, we have the time and latitude to talk about a whole lot of subjects, and when it comes to and actually there's something that you just kind of opened my mind to when you say that, you know, yeah, we need to put some time in Gaza, but what's interesting is that there are a lot of killing that's going on, not only in Israel or Gaza or the West Bank, but in many places around the world. The Uyghurs in China, the folks in Sudan. There's a whole lot of killing, and some of it superseding what's going on in Gaza that's getting no coverage. And, you know, so I mean, there's a whole lot of bad going on all over the world. And you are so right that what's going to bring this election home is how people are going to feel whoever is going to lead them is going to do for them. For a large percentage, there is a certain percentage that They just want to stick it to the other person. But I think I got to give it to you, Ray. I think you nailed it. And if we keep it in that direction, I think we'll do fine. I think you're right about that.
Okay, well, I feel like you are one of the more brilliant minds. So if I opened your mind up to something, Egberto, that makes me smile. So
Well,
I'm not going to take too much.
let me correct you. Let me correct you there, though. Everybody that makes a call here, and I'm not saying this is not false modesty. I mean this from the depths of my heart. I took a stance that I said I want to be the way we move forward is believing that in listening to others we can get to something. And every time I'm listening, that's what I try to do. And I think it opens one mind, it makes one smarter. All of those things are what happen. I meant that exactly the way I said it. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Take care, bro.
All right, let's go to brother Donald, another brother from another mother. Where are my sisters from another mother? I want to hear from my sisters from another mother. Let's go to Donald. Come on in, Donald. And if we accident, I'm fine, Donald. Donald, hold a second. I think we may have just dropped a call. Give us a call back. Go ahead, Donald.
Okay. I was going to do something during Fun Drive, but I'll tell you right now. How are you today, you beautiful human dipped in a dark chocolate shell, that African, Panamanian American with a Latin spice and a Caribbean twist? How are you, Igby, this morning?
Man, I'm doing fine. I've never been described like that. Man, but that description fits me so perfectly. Let me bask in it for 5 seconds here. One, two, three, four. I love it. Talk to me, Donald.
Okay, we're all humans. We all have an animal instinct that we push down. When you look in the mirror, there are just some humans that are more animalistic than others. They will use everybody to keep from working. That's just the way they are. They will screw over somebody else to get ahead, and you're not going to change until you call it out. America, we idolize people that are influencers. We idolize people that make videos of other people getting hurt. We slow down to look at the wreck to see what happened, not to help, but to maybe make a video. We watch people die and we video it. Nobody steps in and does anything. That's when you have a decline of a civilization, when other people's pain brings you pleasure. So, and with journalism, if we looked at it through the eyes of an alien that just came into this world, and we describe situation as this human doing this to another human, we look at how this human was helped by this act, or this human was hurt, not the color of their skin, what's on the inside. If we could put on rose-colored glasses to see people for who they actually are and talk to them and get to know them, and stop judging the book by the cover. And that's all I got to say.
Donald, as usual, you're always insightful. I want to mention something. I don't know if you remember something called the Milgram experiment. The Milgram experiment is where it showed that people like to be led, and they were easily led to harm others. I think that is something that we have to extricate out of our animal behavior, and that is part to what you're saying as well, I think. But anyway, thank you, Donald. And by the way, I like that description, brother. You have a great day, sir.
Have a good one. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Have a good one. All right. Let's go to line number. Man, I haven't started with my rant yet, but it's only going to be a 10-minute rant or so. But anyway, let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I called in because of your caller, Ray. I mean, I really liked what he had to say. I thought he made a lot of great points, and it's refreshing to hear his point of view. I really do hope that people do go to the polls this year and think about not only foreign but also domestic, and that, like I think what Ray said, that they just take a step back and look at the two candidates and think, who is my life going to be better under? I think there's really no other clear choice than Donald Trump for the president of 2024. Because, and I think it's just clear cut both ways. If you look at it foreignly or domestically, our lives were so much better under the last administration than this one. I know a lot of people get hung up on the Supreme Court taking out Roe v. Wade, which I am disgusted by. I thought that was just the worst thing to happen in the United States, especially in recent history, but in the longest time. Because even though I may agree more with the right side of the aisle, I don't agree with everything they do. I don't think anybody should do that with either party. But the economy, just overall business in general. I mean, how many stores are closing every day? Inflation's on the rise, which I know Donald Trump did help with that too. He was printing a ton of money at the Fed also. So he's not entirely blameless in that factor. But overall quality of life, and that this is looking at true, not true domestic issues. They're all domestic issues. But I do believe that he got no help from the media like Joe Biden does. So anything that any of the tiny things that did go wrong while he was president were just blown so out of proportion, and it skewed everybody's view. If you look at today, what's going on, not just abroad but also at home, we are so much worse off. And I think take the issues out of it. If you do like what your last call, not the last call, but what Ray said, if you just take a step back and you look at the two candidates who's up for the vote this year, one guy cannot say a complete sentence without falling over or having to sit down or mumbling his words or looking for a cue card, while the other guy does press conferences every single day, can talk not only in complete sentences but make valid points all on his own without anybody's help. So I think really, if you just look at them as two human beings, who do you want in charge? The guy that cannot get through a complete speech, or the guy that has been doing this for most of his life and it looks extremely capable and that not only could run a business but can run a country?
All right. I really appreciate your call, my friend. And I want to first ask you, I gave you a chance to say everything that you wanted to say in
And
complete
I appreciate
sentences,
that. Thank
correct? And I didn't interrupt you, correct?
you.
All right, good. So let's have a conversation. And I'm going to take the time that I was going to use with my rant to have a conversation with you. And the reason I'm going to do that is that there are a lot of people who think like you. I don't think you're a bad person, I think, at all. But I think it's important that we look at facts for what they are. And I'm going to start with where you ended, as far as being able to make a coherent statement. And it concerns me that someone that sounds as smart as you are, because you're eloquent in the way you expressed yourself, that you would actually say that Donald Trump can have can string a sentence together. Yesterday, we did an experiment. We wrote out one of the things that he said on stage, and honestly, it makes no sense what he said. We also went ahead and look at the topics that he covered. Listen to his entire speech that he gave in a rant. Listen to when he talks about things like water coming out of showers and all of that. They also made no sense because they weren't true or factual. But I leave that side alone and I look at that and say sometimes we give people a pass for the way they speak. But when you say that Biden is an old man, Trump is an old man, Biden is an old man. Trump also, Trump looks more vital than vibrant. Vibrant than Joe Biden. Anybody with eyes can see that. Has nothing to do with the mind, however. But my first question to you is from an economic standpoint. What did Trump do that made your life better? Specifically, what policy did Trump pass to make your life better?
Well, and I thought it was funny that somebody brought up taxes earlier. I mean, he did change the tax code to. I know, and I'm saying this
No,
all
no,
with respect.
brother. I really made you talk, but I don't. Hold on. Wait, Brian, wait. I don't. I made you talk your entire thing. I really don't want to filibuster. What I want you to tell me, and I'll answer just as I will. Specifically, what policy did Trump pass to make your life better?
He made change to the tax code, and it may not have been him, but the Congress did during his tenure.
What in the tax? What,
don't do
brother? And let me tell you what
I
I want us to do. Let me tell you what I want us to do. I don't want us to work on rhetoric, because I am going to tell you what policies are going to make your life better, and I'm going to explain to you why we had inflation. But beforehand, since you said things were better,
that made my life better. He had a
yes,
closed border.
okay, and how did that make your life better? A closed border.
I mean, how could it not make our lives better? You look at
What?
everything that's going on. I mean, we have over 10,000 people per day coming in. That's not
How?
only, and economically. that's
Okay, sir,
flooding
stop.
Again,
I don't want to go into the rhetoric coming off of
You asked me
TV.
you asked it how it.
I ask, yeah, and here's a question, sir. How is 10,000 people coming into our country? And I'm not saying it's not 10,000 a day coming in anymore, but let's go leave that number there. How is that materially affecting your life right now?
Well, it's not 10,000 anymore because the Biden administration finally shut it down through executive order. But
Again, how is that? It doesn't matter the number now. I'm saying, how is a problem? Let me finish, sir.
Which
Uh-huh.
do take general unskilled labor. And so
Yes.
when we have maybe there are illegals coming in and taking those jobs, it's taking jobs away.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's stop. There are studies. Sir. Okay, you said that. I got it.
A viable explanation. And
No,
then you're
you
trying
just
to
gave it.
come to a
You
viable
you
answer.
you just gave it, and I want to answer that. I want to answer the vibe. I don't want to get into a lot of wordiology. Facts are facts, and we have done studies. We have a shortage of people in this country right now. And while we want to have control of our borders, the thing that we have on immigrants, first of all, is that we do need them. When Trump came into office, one of the things that were inflationary as he exited is the policy of people leave of these immigrants leaving Florida, which left Florida with a whole lot of unbuilt homes. Now homes in Florida are having major problems both for insurance and homes. We also had the peaches in Georgia, because these are the states that were clamping down on immigrants. And that's why I said we have to work with facts here. The peaches were left on the ground in Georgia. We go to Arizona, a lot, they couldn't find enough workers to actually, because, and it wasn't that it was that people were now fearful because La Migra was coming to get them. So on the immigration issue, it's sad that it's all wrong. And I'm not blaming you for it. I'm blaming those who are misinforming you about it. So I want to go from the immigration
Can I bring another
issue.
point to the table on this topic?
Say that again.
I said, may I bring another point to this conversation?
Of course you can. Yes, sir. Please do.
Okay. So why, if we're all so against corporate greed nowadays,
Mhm.
and especially the left bangs that drum a lot, which I agree with. If we're
Mhm.
all so against corporate greed, why do we keep letting them hire undocumented or illegal or cheap, very people that may be on?
You nailed it now, sir. You nailed it.
Why do we keep letting them hire them for below livable wages?
You nailed it. You
And if
nailed
they
it.
say, "Oh, we can't hire anybody."
Okay,
we
I
have
got the
to
point.
hire
Okay, look, it's a radio show. I need to.
double their income.
Brian, look, it's a radio show. I got to move you along. So you have to help me out here. So here's the deal. You hit the nail on the head as far as the corporations want the illegal immigration. You nailed it. The corporations want the illegal. immigration. But here is the kicker. We want policies that allow the necessary immigration, which is we do need a lot of people, but we want to legalize how it's done because guess what? At that point, we won't have that shadow economy. But guess what just happened? Trump told his people in Congress not to pass a bill that was written by an Oklahoma conservative who pointed out this is the most conservative bill ever attempted on immigration. So, what I'm saying is, we have to separate facts from fiction. But let's leave the immigration away because I think I've settled that story. Let's go to economics. What economically did Trump do that made your life better?
Well, again, the president doesn't actually do that stuff. It's going to be the Fed.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay, stop. Okay, you gave an answer. It's going to be the feds. The Fed is there from Trump's time. What I'm trying to show you folks is the following. All right. Brian is not a bad person. Brian is and I say this respectfully. Brian is a victim of false rhetoric. And let me explain what I'm saying now. And listen to me, and I want you to listen with an objective mind, just like I listened to your entire 5 minutes of narrative on why you thought Trump should be elected and should choose Trump. Let's go with some facts now, okay? Trump always spoke about, I'm going to have infrastructure week. Biden, in a bipartisan manner, passed an infrastructure bill that no president has been able to pass in the last 12 years. And within that infrastructure bill, most of it went to red states, states that didn't vote for him. But those are the states that need the most support because they have so decimated their personal state economies. And they are the ones getting the majority of the monies from the infrastructure bill passed bipartisanly under Biden. So that affects you materially, not rhetorically, materially. Number two, he passed the bill, the CHIPS bill. Our corporatocracy has moved all our jobs, or a lot of our jobs, overseas. In West Virginia, places that don't vote for Democrats. In Texas, places that don't always vote for Democrats. And all around the country, the CHIPS bill got passed, which are paying corporations. It's ridiculous. Socialized for corporations, paying corporations to bring their manufacturing back to the United States so that we don't have the supply chain problem we had during COVID. Did Biden create that supply chain problem? No. Conservative policies that wanted to keep government and regulations out of business allowed these unpatriotic companies to move their stuff overseas. And when there was a pandemic, and when there was a hurricane, and when there's any of these things, bringing the products in created shortages because they were delayed in coming in. So these guys took a big credit. They made a whole lot of money by not paying you, Brian. Don't blame the immigrants on that. They didn't pay you. It's the corporations who did it. And then they charged you when they couldn't get the products in time, and that's called inflation. That's not done by Biden. That's done by the corporatocracy under the auspices of supply side economics. Let's go a little bit further, my brother. When they came into power, and first of all, it wasn't Trump who gave the people a stimulus check during the Trump administration. We realized we had to inflate the economy because it was at a standstill because of all the crap the corporations did. All of this, folks, you can look it up. I'm not just speaking off the top of my head. You can look this stuff up. Now, the other thing that they did is, if you notice, when you went to buy gas during the pandemic and after the pandemic, there was never a time that you couldn't find gas. They made believe that the war in Ukraine caused your prices of gasoline to go up. That was one of the biggest lies that we allowed you to have that topic of inflation. The prices of gas should have never gone up. if you believe in a capitalism supply and demand portion, it just shows you that it's a fraud because we always had a glut of oil. How do we know that as a statement of fact? Because Saudi Arabia took 2 million barrels of oil a day off the market under the auspices of several Texas corporations who urged them to do it to keep the prices up high. And what's that called? Inflation. Was that a Biden doing? No. What did Biden do? Biden says, I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to open the petroleum reserve, throw some more oil on the market to bring the prices down artificially because you guys raised the prices artificially. Another statement of fact. Let's move a little bit further. You take a look at what the companies who sell eggs and wheat and all of these things said. They in their independent meetings to their shareholders said that inflation is a good thing for them. In other words, we are the ones who set prices. We will set the prices to make sure that you guys get $75 billion more in shareholder value and capital appreciation. That's not me saying, that's the executives of the companies. And you know how we know that's a statement of fact as well? If you take a look and you add the amount of inflation that we have in the market and then tie that to the excess profits of these companies, the increase in profits over what they've normally made, and Representative Katie Porter did it, you find out that, oh my God, inflation wasn't caused because of prices going up on the people who produce things. It went up because the shareholders got more money because they increased prices. If you then take a look at the guy that you like, Mr. Trump's word, he goes into a closed meeting and he said, you guys are going to like me because you're going to make more money. These guys are already making more money than they deserve or that they earned. He told them they would make more money. So, my brother Brian, the right answer, I look, everybody has the vote that they want. You can choose and vote whomever you want to vote for. But if you want to vote on reality, if you want to vote on what actually happened, I suggest you continue to listen to our show objectively and not believe the crap that you hear in the right wing media that packages lies in such a manner that it's believable. So I'm going to let you go here now. I gave you your time to speak, and that was my answer. Thank you so kindly, Brian. I hope to hear from you again, and I hope that you continue to listen to our program. And with that, I'm going to go to Moses. Come on in, Moses.
Good morning, brother. Buenos dias.
Good morning, my sister. I said I wanted to hear from a sister, and I did. My sister from another mother. Talk to me.
Okay, I'm listening to especially those people who are upholding Mr. Trump. Every one of those immigrant haters, that's what I call them, immigrant haters, in this country are themselves immigrants. There's none except for the Indians, and we know that. I'm not going to deal on that. Whose forebears did not come from another country. Mr. Trump himself is an immigrant. He's of immigrant stock. So all the
And
people
his
who are
wife.
again, even during the time he was pushing immigrants in the water, his mother-in-law, I think, was made a U.S. citizen. So all the people who are speaking about against immigrants, white, blacks, or whatever, telling them go back to their country, all the white people should go back to Switzerland or wherever it is, Poland, wherever they come from. That is to show you the amount of ignorance people have about history. Anyway, the second thing is to favor Donald Trump's administration over Biden is to be self-destructive. We are destroying ourselves because we have seen what it is. We've heard up to this day, he is still spewing. Even today, hearing Donald Trump propose further destruction of the economic and social well-being of Americans to replace it with a return of misery for all Americans except for the aristocrat, the rich man. Today, you are hearing this. He's saying it. It's not coming from somebody else. He's telling you he is coming to destroy you. What is it that you cannot understand? If there is
Moses,
one,
Moses, wrap it up for me, but I agree with you. Wrap it up, please.
if there is one time Americans need to look between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, as one of the callers said, we need to look deeply at what is going to be in our favor
My
in terms
sister,
of our life.
my sister,
Look
I
at
thank you
what
so kindly for your call. I got to go to another sister. All right? Thank you very
okay.
much, Moses. You have a wonderful day, and thank you for your always thoughtful commentary. Let's go to Sister Lynette. Sister Lynette, come on in. I've been waiting to hear female voices.
Yeah, I'll make it quick as usual. I wanted to. There's a program back in, I think it was 2015. I forget 2015, 16, 17. It was called My IRA. I don't know if you're familiar with it,
No, I'm
but what
not.
it did, small business, it gave small business an opportunity to open a retirement account because a lot of people don't have a retirement account within their
Hmm.
jobs or within their small businesses. So I can tell you what Trump did do. He got rid of it. So you can Google, does MyRA still exist? It was myra.gov, and I don't even think the website is there anymore. But if you Google it, you can see that it existed under the U.S. Treasury. But it did again give people an opportunity to just save $2 or $100 to open a IRA, a retirement account. And so Trump did take that away when he got in, and it would have been great if he had given it a chance to work instead of just because people are only saving a little bit, not having an access to a retirement account. So I just wanted to put that out there. So yeah, Trump got rid
Th-
of it when he got in. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You all are doing a great job, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so kindly for your call, Lynette, my sister from another mother. Let's now go to Augie. Come on in, Augie.
Good morning. It's interesting about how some people are talking about against the immigrants. I wonder if they ever met any of these immigrants. I have. I've been in their apartments. They're the cleanest apartments, and they're also good cooks too. And they respect their elders. In the apartments, sometimes there's 6 or 8 immigrants to an apartment. The older ones get the beds. The younger ones get the floor. But their apartments are spotless. And Trump, who does he get for his workers at Mar-a-Lago? His best workers at Mar-a-Lago are the immigrants. And reporters, they started noticing when they went to Mar-a-Lago to interview Trump, they were looking at the workers at Mar-a-Lago, and they realized, man, they're all immigrants. And somehow they asked Trump about it. Well, they're his best workers. But then when the reporters started snooping around, he hit them. He moved them out. But he calls them in whenever he needs a job done because they'll do a better job than any American does. And on the first day that Biden was president, they were talking about how bad the border crisis was going to be. Well, the first 2 years, it went down. Nobody thanked Biden for it going down. But as soon as it goes up, well, on that day, well, oh, no, now it's going up. But
Augie,
coming
Augie, give me a chance to cut you short today because I got 2 more calls I got to take. But you're
in,
absolutely right on the immigrant issue. Let's talk tomorrow. Is that okay?
yeah, that's right.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Augie is one of our great supporters of this station, the entire station, always there for us. Let's jump to Brian real quick. Brian, you got about 1 minute.
Okay. Now, the illegal aliens that murdered the little girl, I told you something like that was going to happen. The immigration policy is all on Biden. It's not on Trump. Trump
Okay.
tried to build walls.
Okay, I need to address that. I got to cut you there for a specific reason. It is completely unfair and does a danger to immigrants when you equate the murder by those 2 criminals on that young 12-year-old. That has little to do with immigration. That has everything to do with criminality. Wait, hold on, Brian. Let me finish, please. immigrants commit a hell of a lot less crime than the American population at large. That is a statement of fact. Secondly, Americans go overseas. In fact, right in Panama, about 6 months ago, an American citizen murdered two teachers because they wouldn't open a particular street. So if we gave the same treatment as far as criminality towards American criminals in other countries compared to criminals from other countries in America, you'd be surprised. Again, let's get educated. Continue, Brian. You got 30 seconds.
Okay. Now, did the two illegal aliens that murdered the young girl, were they employed by AT&T, General Motors, a company that E-Verifies? No, they weren't.
No.
Majority of illegal aliens work for small companies that don't participate in E-Verify. Okay?
Actually, they're
totally
supposed.
wrong on the economy.
Actually,
Totally wrong on the
Brian, I gotta go, but I'm definitely not wrong, Brian. Go to the meat packers out there in Wisconsin or Iowa or whatever, where we have the train of these immigrants going to. Let's go to the fields in Georgia. Let's go to the fields in Georgia. Okay, we'll talk tomorrow. I got to get to Johnny to close her out. Johnny, you got 30 seconds.
Okay, so you did fantastic rhetorical judo in addressing the newer Brian's call with at least four economic examples. And I will add to that by saying that when the new Brian makes a statement that's obviously divisive, saying that Donald Trump doesn't get any help from the media and Joe Biden does, that's factually incorrect. The reason why Donald Trump got into the White House is because he got too much help from the media, and Bernie got nothing. And
Donald Trump got over $1 billion worth. Okay, you done, Johnny? Real quick, 10 seconds.
Yes, and then our old Brian talking about wanting to talk about the getting down on illegal aliens who killed a girl. What about the old white guy who shot those three keffiyeh-wearing college students? What should we do about old white guys with guns?
All right, thank you. Got to go, Johnny. Got to go. Okay, Jack, give me a quick closer.
You notice that Joe and Brian are actually have a little bit of a humanist personality in them, and I want to commend that.
Thank you very much for that, Jack. I agree with you 100%. Anyway, folks, love you all of my callers, left, right, middle, anarchists, anybody. Love you guys. Don't forget what we don't cover. Go to politicsandright.com/newsletter. The entire set of videos, everything is right there. politicsandright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics and Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.